Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tiger Talk. My name is Brad Jester. I have Dr. Jennifer Edwards, our Director of Distance Education, with us. And today we are interviewing Miss Julie Gates, who is our Forensic Science Program Coordinator and Instructor. Hello there, Julie.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
So Julie, tell us a little bit about forensic science. Is this CSI in the classroom, or what is your program all about?
Well, it technically is CSI in the classroom, but real CSI, unlike TV.
Yes.
I do tell my students a lot that it is nothing like you see on TV. One thing that you don't see on CSI or any of those programs is paperwork. So we go over a lot of paperwork because that's probably 90% of being a crime scene investigator or someone who works in a lab is paperwork, because anytime you do something, you have to document it, right? And that paperwork's got to follow you through the whole process, from the time you get to the scene, from the time you finish the scene, and the time it goes to court. It's going to follow you the whole way, and it's going to be part of a case file, and it's going to be maintained into the court as a part of a transcript or whatever. So that's one thing that they do not show on TV, is all the paperwork that's involved.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I would imagine that makes it a bit different. So what got you interested in the field? Let me just ask you that.
You're going to laugh, but everyone
Television?
might laugh. I got my passion to do crime scene investigation by dumpster diving.
Oh,
And
that's
that's
fun.
exactly what it is actually going in a dumpster and looking for stuff. You say, like, well, how did you get a passion for that? But actually, at the time in my career, I was working in the jail. And so I was part of the search and rescue team, and they had a homicide that occurred. And so they called us out to help search for evidence over a large area. And I helped with the dumpster diving. And after that, I was like, I really want to do this job. This sounds like more fun to me than I was going to try to get into the narcotics aspect. But after I did that, it was like, I'm all about some crime scene.
I think I would rather be dumpster diving than do narcotics investigations myself.
And that's basically how I got my passion. So I was able, fortunate enough that when I was doing my bachelor's degree, I was able to do an internship with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, a crime scene investigator. And I got involved in a lot of good cases, and one actually high profile case that I call it my 10 seconds of fame on America's Most Wanted. And the rest of the say is history. I was able to become the crime scene investigator at Spalding County, where I was for 19 years.
So for 10 seconds, you were a television star. That's
right, on America's Most Wanted.
Wow. Wow. Do you ever show that clip to your students?
Well, if I would if I had it. I can't find it anymore. that was back when they had VCRs, you know.
Right, right. So tell us a little bit about the classes that are in this program. Tell us a little bit about what students will actually do in the classroom.
Okay, well, once you get over the Introduction to Forensic Science class, that's like the first class you have to take, where you learn about how forensics came about and some of the key players, scientists who created the forensic science program. And then when you get into further on into the program, there's a Crime Scene Investigation 1 and 2. And those classes are actually, as you know, well, most students don't know, but we have a house at the back of the campus that we set up actual crime scenes. And the students will actually go through and actually work a crime scene. Now in the Crime Scene 1 class, I kind of like them hands-on and work with them to show them what to do. By the time they get to Crime Scene 2, we set up other crime scenes, different scenarios, and they do it pretty much without my help. So they can learn, and that entails actually photographing the crime scene, documenting the crime scene through measuring the triangulation method or the baseline method, whichever one they decide they're going to use. Then they have to collect evidence, properly collect and package evidence, process any evidence for fingerprints if they think it's needed, and then they have to do a report, a crime scene report, and they have to do a rough sketch and a final sketch. So they actually would, in that class, actually do a whole crime scene through the from the start and through the paperwork. And then when they get to my document and report writing class, not my document and report writing, sorry, my courtroom testimony class, we actually use the courthouse here on campus, and I have the district attorney come over and her husband, who is a defense attorney, and they actually see how it's what it's like to testify in court. So they'll actually testify to the crime scene that they worked.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I've been in that house and I've seen one of those labs in action too, and it's really interesting. It really is, and I think that's great experience, laboratory experience for students to have. You know.
And some in classroom here, like in the lab in here, we'll do some blood pattern analysis, and so I have some fake blood, and I let them, you know, see how it drops from different heights, and when it hits a different type of surface, what it looks like, so they can testify to blood pattern analysis. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, they'd have to go further and enhance their career further to be actually considered an expert, but so that's some of the stuff we'll do.
Okay.
And of course, the biggest one is processing items for fingerprints, because that's the majority of what crime scene investigators do, is process stuff for fingerprints. That's what we're looking for, is fingerprints.
Well, it sounds to me there's a lot of hands-on learning, a lot of time inside the classroom with you doing demonstrations and students showing you what they can do.
Right.
Are there any classes that in your program that can be taken online?
There are a few. In fact, there's only 2 right now, and that is victimology, which is an elective, and one in the program that's actually required is my document and report writing class. That is actually an online class. But as far as all the others, they're pretty much in class, hands-on. So you cannot get this degree by going online and doing it online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would imagine that a lot of this you have to do in person and actually have the process in person too, in order to apply that into your ultimate career. So
right.
How are the career opportunities in forensic science?
Well, like I'd like to tell my students, is it depends on what they want to do. Of course, lab jobs, you know, you can get a job in a lab like at your local hospital or one of those like LabCorp or something like that. But if you want to work in a lab, especially a state lab, then you have to continue on to get a bachelor's degree in order to work in a state lab. But as far as like being a crime scene investigator, there are places in the state of Georgia right now that will hire civilian crime scene investigators. So there's a possibility you can graduate with a degree here and go into the field as a crime scene investigator. If you don't want to go that way and you just want to, and you maybe have an agency that requires you to be a mandated police officer, then you have to go through a longer process, and it might take you a little while before you're able to be a crime scene investigator. Normally at like sheriff's offices, you have to start in the jail, get mandated, and then serve at least 2 years on the road. The ones right around in the patrol cars answering the call. And then after that, if there's an opening available, then you can put in for those positions. We do have a student, I do have a student, well, a former student, I should say, who now works at Clayton County as a civilian crime scene investigator. So it just depends on where the student wants to go and, you know, what they want to do. Are they looking to be a certified police officer? Then it's going to take a little while. If they just want to get out in the field and start doing it, then they can go to one of those agencies that hire civilians.
Okay. All right. Great. So, Ms. Gates, if somebody out there is interested in contacting you about the forensic science program, what's the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach me is either by my Southern Crescent email or my telephone number at 770-412-5751. Boy, I hope that was right.
Okay. Or you can look on the Southern Crescent website directory and just search for Julie Gates. So
Right.
Miss
I'm
Gates,
pretty jam up on answering my emails, so emails is, one of the best ways. And if we need to communicate after that, then I provide my phone number and we can talk.
mhm. Okay, all right. And that's julie.gates@sctech.edu, correct?
Correct.
All right, excellent. Well, Miss Gates, I appreciate you meeting with us today. And hopefully some of you out there are very interested in this exciting program of forensic science. So contact Miss Gates and she'll help you get on your way for a CSI career. So
I sure
once again,
will.
for watching Tiger Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.